Hello everyone, this is Fan from Awesome Tech Gaming Pro. I hope you all are well. Today I'm going to talk about the two TV, the legendary LG C2 and the Sony A80L, which is latest 2023 model TV. The Sony A80L OLED and LG C2 OLED are comparable TVs, each with strengths. The LG has a slightly higher peak brightness in HDR than A80L, but the Sony in turn can maintain its brightness better with a less aggressive ABL. LG has better HDR peak brightness. However, aside from that, each leans into the strengths of their respective brands. The Sony has better image processing than the LG, and it supports more advanced audio formats such as DTS. LG, however, is the better gaming TV with a slightly lower input lag, HDMI 2.1 bandwidth on all four ports instead of just two, and has 1440p resolution and FreeSync VRR support. LG C2 is the second top of the line of the LG's 2022 OLED TV lineup. In this lineup, it sits between the LG C2 and V2. It is also a successor of LG C1, one of the most demanded OLED TVs on 2021. On the other hand, the Sony A80L is the entry level of the Sony's 2023 OLED TV lineup and also the successor of 80K. In this lineup, it sits below the A90L OLED TV. As typical of OLED TV, both have outstanding performance of showing a dark scene even if they are set in pitch dark room. So their performance in a dark room should not be doubt and certainly is not much different. But of course, not only of showing dark scene, both also have good performance in almost all aspects of picture quality. They also have a lot of advanced features that will improve your experience in enjoying home entertainment. Nevertheless, since they are made by different manufacturers, of course, they have different feature and technology to each other. Meanwhile, that makes the Sony A80L is different to OLED TVs from other manufacturers is its audio configuration, just like 8K, its predecessor. The A80L comes with a technology called acoustic surface to produce sound. It utilizes the screen that driven by an actuator instead of traditional speakers found on most TVs, including LG C2. A big difference to the predecessor is that it now comes with 3 actuators, while the 80J comes with 2 actuators. LG C2 and OLED TV that comes with most screen sizes, which are 6 variants: 42, 48, 55, 65, 77, and 83-inch sizes. On the other hand, A80L also have 55, 65, 77-inch sizes. As typical of OLED TV, both of the Sony A80L and LG C2 also have outstanding performance of displaying dark scene, since each pixel of OLED panel can emit its own light. OLED TV doesn't use backlight. Additionally, it can also switch on and off or dim individually without affected by the other pixels. So when it is displaying black, it switch off the pixels in black area. So there is no light emitted at all from black area. That's why OLED panel can produce nearly perfect black, making them have infinite contrast ratio. Additionally, since it can produce black with the same level in all areas, this is also makes their black uniformity is also nearly perfect. Because OLED panel doesn't have backlight, this makes it doesn't have local dimming feature. But keep in mind, each pixel of OLED panel can switch on and off dim individually. This, of course, is the same as full array local dimming on LED TV, with the number of dimming zones is same to other number of pixels. The results when they are showing bright object in a dark scene, it can be shown perfectly without blooming around it, even if they are surrounded by black pixels. Combination of infinite contrast ratio, nearly perfect black, and pixel dimming level makes their performance of showing dark scene is very impressive. Dark scene of images can be shown with details and without crushed black. Even if they are set in a dark room, that scene displayed on their screen looks very accurate. While their performance in a dark room is very impressive, their performance in a bright room is only decent, especially for the Sony A80L. With white window tests, peak brightness reached by them may be almost similar, but the A80L can get around 40 nits at 2%, 10%, and 25% white window. while the LG C2 get around 400 nits at 2% and 10% white window. However, just like other OLED TVs, their peak brightness drop considerably by their ABL to around 160 nits when they are showing the entire screen is bright. This means bright object in a dark scene and bright scene cannot be shown at the same brightness level. While the white window test, the Sony A80L can get a bit brighter with real scene. The LG C2 can get brighter, which is around 425 nits, while the A80L get around 300 nits or above. For the LG C2, although not as bright as LED TVs in its class, but it is still bright enough to combat the glare in most bright rooms. In the second place, it has outstanding reflection handling. So as long as you don't use it in a very bright room with a lot of lights of sunny windows, there will not be an issue with the glare. On the other hand, with around 300 nits, it is not bright enough to fight a ton of glare. This means it is only bright enough to fight the glare in moderately dimmer rooms. Fortunately, the reflection handling is great, so this can help to improve its performance of combat the glare and reflection. If you see its picture quality to process images, the LG C2 is powered by Alpha 9 Gen 5 AI processor 4K, while the Sony A80L is powered by cognitive processor XR. Both of these image processors have AI-based 4K upscaling engine and deep learning machine. The result both can produce images excellently with a lot of details, even if the source has low resolution. So if you have old movies in DVD, you can still enjoy them in near 4K resolution with small details preserved well. And the high resolution of the source, there are more small details preserved well in the picture displayed on their screen. As typical of OLED TV, both of the LG C2 and Sony A80L also has wide viewing angle. Black of images still remain black even if viewed from extremely wide angle. Additionally, brightness level of images also looks consistent from any angle. That is not only that, although started at certain angle, color of images washed out, but it is still at wide angle. This means images displayed on there will look consistent. Even if you watch TV from the side, this is very suitable for you to have wide sitting arrangement for watching TV. Both of the Sony A80L and LG C2 have outstanding color gamut, especially in DCI-P3 color space. Their coverage in DCI-P3 color space is nearly perfect, which is nearly 100%. This means all colors of HDR images mastered in DCI-P3 like HDR10 can be shown accurately. Sadly, their color coverage in Recon 2020 is only decent, which is around 76%. And since HDR formats that mastered in Recon 2020 like Dolby Vision are started to be released a lot, of course, this makes them is not very good for this HDR format. This means they cannot show almost 25% of colors in Recon 2020. This performance is far behind Samsung S95B or Sony A95K that uses QD-OLED technology, where both can cover more than 90% of Recon 2020 color space. However, for this time, their color coverage is still great, and there is not many TV that can match their color coverage, while their color gamut is great overall. Both also have good color volume overall, except bright saturated color. Both can produce their white color gamut at entire their brightness range, including dark shades of colors. OLED panel of the Sony A80L and LG C2 uses WRGB subpixel, where there is additional white subpixel to boost their brightness. The use of white subpixel may make them can produce pure white, but on the other hand, this desaturates very bright colors, making them cannot produce bright saturated color. While their color gamut and color volume is more influenced by performance of their panel, their color gradient is more influenced by performance of their image processor. And for this case, the Sony A80L has better color gradient than LG C2. On the state of the LG C2, banding is slightly noticeable in reds and blue shades of colors, but even so, this should not be noticeable with normal content. Its color gradient is very smooth with almost no noticeable banding in all colors. Nevertheless, if you still feel that banding bothered, both have a feature called smooth gradation that can help to reduce banding. Sadly, this only work well with low quality content, while with high resolution content, this precisely can cause some loss of fine details in certain scenes. Both of the Sony A80L and LG C2 also have exceptional motion handling thanks to their nearly instantaneous pixel response time, just like other OLED TV. Their pixel response time is nearly instant, which is around 3 milliseconds. It is still much lower than the lowest response time of LED TV. The result, there is almost no blur following fast-moving objects when they are displaying fast-paced content. Nevertheless, their near instant response time can cause low frame rate content like movies appear to stutter. This is caused each frame is held on longer. Enabling their DFI mode and interpolate them to higher frame rate can reduce stuttering, but this can remove it completely. Meanwhile, to dim their screen, OLED TV doesn't use the same technique found on LED TV, where most of them use PWM dimming system. This makes their screen is almost flicker-free, which means it is great. However, screen flickering that match with the frame rate of content is required to reduce persistence blur that caused by their nearly instant response time. And for this purpose, both of them have an optional black frame insertion mode that makes their screen flickers at certain frequency. A bit unfortunately, they only support 60 Hz BFI mode and don't support 120 Hz BFI mode. That means they can flicker their screen at 60 Hz only. This is great with 60 FPS content like sports, but with 120 Hz content, this precisely can cause image duplications. As we see on comparison, both of the Sony A80L and LG C2 have native 120 Hz refresh rate panel. This makes them can properly show any content with native frame rate up to 120 Hz. Besides, they have native 120 Hz refresh rate panel. Both also already support variable refresh rate technology with VRR enabled. The refresh rate can range between about 20 Hz to 120 Hz. The advantage of the LG C2 is that its VRR technology is compatible with FreeSync, G-Sync, and HDMI 4 VRR, while A80L is compatible with G-Sync and HDMI 4 VRR only. This means VRR of A80L cannot work with devices that support FreeSync like Xbox One or PC with Radeon graphics card. So LG C2 overall better, I think, than A80L. So what's your thought? Please write in the comments below. That's it from now. If you like this video, please subscribe and press the bell icon for future notifications update. I have another channel named Tech Gaming Villa, where I upload similar kind of tech videos. Please visit this channel and subscribe for update. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.
To change your